Hi, guys. Welcome to another edition of the Ambition Podcast. I am your host, Israel Zapp, and I am super excited to start today's segment of Conversation Starters. I want to get you with some updates really quick on what we're doing here at the Ambition Podcast. Number one, thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you guys for liking. Thank you guys for commenting, for emailing. Thank you guys for doing all the fun stuff that you guys are doing. Thank you guys so much. I would not be here without you. This production, this conversation would not be here without you. If you have not looked at our previous episode was with Brittany Arroyo and with Mike Hernandez. We talked about how we bring excellence to worship. Please do me a favor. I think there will be a link down below or maybe in a box somewhere on the screen. I don't know. We'll see how techy we get. It'll be here. Go ahead, watch it, send it to 10 of your worship leader friends. It's going to be super awesome. All right, number one, we're going to be doing a new update to the Ambition Podcast. So season 2, we are currently in season 2. So welcome to season 2. Shout out to season 2. By the way, do you guys like the new intro video? Let us know in the comments down below if you like it. Jose did an amazing job on it. Number one, we're going to be doing an update. So twice a month, we're going to be uploading videos. So I believe it was 2 weeks ago, you've seen Brittany and Mike's episode, and that was amazing. We loved it so much. It was a pleasure doing it. Today will be the second episode that we upload for this month, for the month of April. So we are super excited to bring things to you twice a month. We're going to be ending the season in roughly about 3.5 to 4 months. We're going to see where it goes from there. Season 2 will be ending. We do not have an exact date yet, but we will let you know when the exact date is. Number one. Number two, we have pre-recorded conversations between me and several guests. One of them was a reoccurring guest / co-host. His name was Daniel Talavera. You guys know him. He's a friend of the show, family of the show. He's one of my best friends for life. I love him. He is currently, as of this recording, he is currently in boot camp right now. So we took some pre-recorded videos, some conversations about some sensitive topics, some serious topics, and they will be dated, but you will enjoy them nonetheless. They will be very informative. Lastly, please continue to like, subscribe, comment, share it with all your friends, all your family. And on today's conversation starter, we're going to be talking about the event that happened this past weekend on April 11th, 2021. It's not an easy conversation to have, and it's not an easy conversation to start. I've been talking with several members within my fan group of different communities, and they had all told me that this is a conversation that needs to be shared, that needs to be started, and it needs to be an honest and wholesome conversation. This conversation that I am about to start with you, with the viewer, with the Ambition crew, with the Ambition team, the Ambition family. We are the fam. We are Ambition together. This is a conversation that I am going to start, but it's not going to end here. It's going to start in your house. It's going to start at the gym. It's going to start in your workplace. It's going to start wherever it is that you can host a conversation with your coworkers, with your friends, with your family, with all your cousins, with all the people that you know, the people that you don't know, the people that you dislike. This is a conversation starter. It's going to start many conversations for you. If you are at the gym, keep working out. If you're on your run, keep running. If you're in the kitchen making food, keep cooking, keep baking. But this is a conversation starter that's going to start here, but it's going to continue with you. We are hoping to continue a series based off of this category in the conversation, and we're hoping to continue with it. We're hoping to dive into it because this is something that is extremely detrimental to today's generation. With that being said, let's get started. On April 11, 2021, Dante Demetrius Wright, a 20-year-old African-American man, was fatally shot by police officer Kimberly Potter during a traffic stop and attempted arrest for an outstanding arrest warrant in the Brooklyn Center, Minnesota area. What was the arrest warrant? We're probably wondering right now because, with different events that are happening that are going on today in society, we really want to look at the severity of the issue. The warrant was related to a separate case, dash 27 dash CR dash 21 dash 4400. Another dash. I don't know if the dashes are serious or not, so forgive me for my minor or major ignorance of the situations at hand. In which Wright was charged with carrying a pistol without a permit and fleeing a peace officer. A notice for a hearing in that case on April 2nd was uploaded on March 4th. No return mail was listed in that case. Court records show a judge signed a gross misdemeanor warrant for Wright's arrest on April 2nd after he missed the 2:30 p.m. Zoom hearing, according to Newsweek, excuse me. Third question I want to outline is there a difference between a gun and a taser? Now, notice on April 11th, this is when the fatal shot was happening. He was shot. The situation that happened was that the officer, she's had 20 plus years of experience within the force. She said that she was reaching for her taser, and she thought she had her taser within her hand. She made what she believed was a mistake because the taser was not on her dominant side, rather the gun was on her she believed that she was reaching on her non-dominant side. So she figured that her gun was on her dominant side. So when she grabbed the taser, or when she grabbed the gun, she thought she was grabbing the taser. All right. The problem that I have with this, when I asked this question, is there a difference between a gun and a taser? Now, according to this link, according to Lieutenant Ron Murphy from Fox News on April 14th, there is a difference between a gun and a taser. This is a direct quote from Lieutenant Murphy from Fox News. He says this: a gun and a taser have physical differences from the weight to the material, but the weight of a taser is still considerably lighter. It's taser, excuse me. The taser is all plastic for the most part. The only thing metal is the wire. A handgun, they can all be metal. Handguns, there are some guns that have composites or plastics, but the weight of a gun would definitely be heavier, than the weight of a taser. So we have the warrant, we have the differences between a gun and a taser, we have what happened. Now that I've outlined some of the facts of the situation that has happened today, I have to get to the part where some of you guys are probably wondering, which I was told to share, which is, what do I think about the situation that happened? First off, I want to be 100% honest right here. There is no reason why that the situation that happened where Dante was killed, it shouldn't have happened. It should not have resulted in death. He did not deserve to die. He did not deserve to be put to the ground. He did not deserve to be shot. It was a situation not due to racism. It was a situation due to incompetence by a police officer. Now, she had, I believe, 20 X amount of years in the force. She was, from my understanding, she was training someone that day. And in the middle of that process, according to the different reports and articles that I have read, she should know the difference between a taser and a gun. She made a stupid decision based out of negligence. It was stupid. It was reckless. And in my personal opinion, that resulted in the ending of life to Dante Wright. I'll say it again. I don't believe that this had racist intent. I don't believe it had racial malice. I believe that this situation here on April 11th of 2021 ended because of a complete act of wrong decision making. Now, here's the reason why I want to make sure that I make it clear that I don't believe that it was a racial act. I don't think it was a racial act. I don't believe it was a racial act. I don't think she woke up in the morning saying, "Can I kill a person of color today?" I don't believe it was like that. I believe that within that moment, from the body cam footage that I've watched, she had about 7 to 10 seconds to decide whether or not to use the gun that was in her hand. She kept announcing that she had a taser, and then she shot 3 times from what it looked like, and it ended up being a and ended up being a shot. So, according now, actually, it was one shot. Sorry, it was one shot. Um, Body cam footage made it look different. From what it looked like, she shot. After the shot was out, I think the car rolled off or something happened. She went back towards her partners. There were three of them there, her partner, and I believe the ride along. And when they were there, she made the statement. She's like, "Oh, I shot him," and she sounded very panicked, very panicked. As you could tell, she had no intent to kill the person. She had no intent to hurt him. She had no intent to make anything. It was just a complete stupid decision. I want to talk about this, and I want this to be a conversation started. The reason why I want this conversation started is because we are raising up a generation of people that every time, whether it's a white on black case, whether it's a cop on a civilian of a POC case, we right away label racist on it. We right away put the racist label on it. You can't stop somebody for speeding without them being racist. You can't stop somebody for driving without a license without it being a racist cop. You can't stop somebody for running red lights without it being a racist cop. In this situation, here's what we have happening. We have Dante, who has a warrant for his arrest. We have a law. It's a stupid law, but we have a law that you can't have anything in your rearview mirror. And apparently, he had air freshener. The government, for whatever reason, just doesn't want our cars to smell nice from the rearview mirror section. We have there's two wrongs already. The third wrong is he was driving with expired license plate. And the fourth, he began to resist arrest. Notice in the body cam footage they had him. He was compliant for what it looked like the most part of the body cam footage that was shown. I could be wrong. But when they tried arresting him, they were losing grip of the handcuffs or whatever it looked like. So when they tried to fix the handcuffs, he ran back to his car. He was already leaning on his car. He wiggled his way out of the police officer's adjustment, and he got back into his car. He did not have permission to get back into his car, but he got back into his car, and he started to try to fight, to wrestle out, and to drive away. One of the cops was struggling with him, and then the female officer, I believe her name is Kimberly, that's when she supposedly or allegedly reached for her taser. I do not believe this has anything to do with racist intent. It was just a terrible situation, and it so happened to be an unarmed black man. That is my outlook on it. Here's what I think, though, that needs to be done about it. Number one, I think we need to stop labeling every situation as racist, because it's not. We're labeling racist people when there is no racist intent. We can't prove it. It's just ridiculous already. We're getting to the point now as a society to where we are going to start crying wolf for every situation. And then when the time actually comes, we're going to be so dumbed down and numb to it that it's not going to be effective anymore. What we need to do is we need to start creating a space for police reform, and we need to start creating a space for education within our young people. We need to start educating our young people that no, it's not cool to talk back to the police. No, it's not cool to show the police attitude. I remember 2 years ago, I was in San Francisco, and a police officer chewed me out. I was actually driving Jose's car. I made a very rough turn. I didn't know where I was going, so I made a stupid U-turn in the middle of the road. It was ridiculous. That cop pulled me over, and I was driving 2 seconds. I seen the lights. I'm like, okay, let me pull over. I didn't even get the chance to pull over, and he was already yelling from his megaphone, "You see red lights, that means stop." And then he came over to me. He chewed me out. I kid you not. I was scared. I thought I was going to poop in my shorts in the car. I'm letting you know. I said, "Yes, sir. No, sir. I apologize, sir. I'm sorry, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir." That was my conversation with the officer. At that point, after the officer chewed me out, he could tell I was scared. He could tell I was, I didn't know where I was going. It was my first time driving in San Francisco. I was doing a job out there. And he said, "Do you know where you're going?" I said, yes, I think I do. I have Google Maps to help me out. He said, okay, drive safe. I will help you get on the freeway. All right. I am not saying that there are not bad cops out there. And I'm not saying that all cops are bad. I'm not saying all cops are good. Here's what I am saying. We need to educate. Number one, we need to educate our people how to interact with police officers. But on the flip side of that same point, we need to educate our police officers. We need to reform police reform. We need to reform. We need to reform, and the way that I would think to do that is we need to have psych evaluations at least once a month for all of our police officers. Okay, we have police officers coming from all different walks of life. Some are passionate to serve, some are zealous to serve. Just last year, when all the riots and all the protests were happening, I seen a young person who couldn't be more than 22, 23, 24 years old. He was standing right in front of all the protesters while we were protesting in Sacramento. He was a young kid. We have young people up there who really think, shoot first, ask questions later, because they're so passionate about the job. Some of them, they get scared easy. We need to learn how to train our police officers. We need to get psych evaluations. We need to get them on a counselor. And then I also believe that, sadly, right now in this current climate, we need to get the actual good cop and the actual bad cop. And what I mean by that is we need to get somebody who's riding in the car day to day with a police officer. And when there's a traffic violation, when there is a violation like there was in this incident where it started with expired plates, we need to have an unarmed officer who maybe all they have is a taser, no gun, just a taser. Have the good cop show up to the car, talk to him, somebody who has a degree in that aspect of being able to communicate, to de-escalate the situation, not just reach for something, but to actually talk, to actually communicate, to actually do something other than trying to like pull out a gun or pull out a baton. All right. We need somebody who is skilled in de-escalating. We need somebody who can do it that way. Incidents like this, stupid trash like this that happen, it won't happen. Okay. We need to educate our civilians. We need to re-educate our police officers. We need reform in the police department. We need psych evaluations. We need somebody who is able to talk to people who are being stopped. And last but not least, we need mutual respect again for the police department and from the police department to civilians. Right now, I'm going to be 100% honest with my viewers and people who are probably turning me off right now, which, I completely understand. And, please leave comments down below if you think I've made an error. But here's my honest truth. I have plenty of friends who are excellent police officers. And I have plenty of friends who are excellent civilians. And I know that just because you have 100 good apples, it does not mean that the 2 bad apples should be unaccounted for. It does not mean that you should keep looking at the bad apples, you should keep staring at the bad apples, and you should keep eating from the bad apples. What you should be doing, in all 110% honesty, is you need to take into account those people who are making stupid decisions. You need to hold them accountable. You need to check them. And that all starts with the foundation of a system. You need to look at the police department system. You need to look at everything that goes along with it, from the foundation all the way up to the top. And you need to restructure. You need to reform how they're trained. You need to reform how you do and how you operate on certain situations, certain rules, certain protocols. You need to reevaluate those things. That way, when incidents like this happen, incidents like a license plate being ran and finding out, hey, you're expired, dude. Incidents like you have an air freshener on your rearview mirror, it doesn't end up with another person dead. We need to reevaluate. We need to reform. And we really, really, really need to relearn. This is the Ambition Podcast with Israel Zapp. This is a podcast where we get to talk about all these uncomfortable issues. And as you can see, I'm probably a little, maybe on the more uncomfortable side, but I'm on the very passionate side about it. Because I'm passionate about a couple things right now, especially when it comes to this topic. I'm passionate about humanity, making us better. I'm passionate about Jesus. But in this category, I'm also passionate about letting people know that truth is, from the police officer side to the civilian side, both sides were wrong, and it ended up with somebody on the news and the other person on the news and in the ground. And stuff like this needs to stop. But until we start passing some reforms, until we start educating ourselves and educating our people, this isn't going to stop. It's only going to get worse. Educate the police officers. Educate the civilians. Get a good cop in there. Get the unarmed person in there. Change your protocols. Because unless you want more people ended up dead like this, more news articles like this. Just this morning, I read a news article from NBC. It put out a false article saying his only crime was driving while being black. This is ridiculous. We have a liberal media out there who wants to twist every God-hating, every evil thing on this media outlet that's being reported. They want to twist it for some evil narrative. I'm telling you, spreading fear. We need to educate ourselves. We need to research. But we also need a system to change. I'm your host today, and thank you for watching. Please leave a comment or complaint. Subscribe. Cancel. This is going to be the first of many conversations. I'm hoping to get a police officer on here soon. I am hoping to get several of my friends from different communities on here soon. That way we can converse about this. Because I have a point on here, really. This wasn't planned. I have several questions on here that I have for this conversation starter. And if you notice, question number 4 is, how do we fix the situation? And this is my works-cited area. The point to that really is, there is no one solution that fixes every situation or fixes this. There's no one. The solution to fix the situation is you and I. We could be better than this. Let's be better. I'm your host. It's the Ambition Podcast. I love you, and I'll see you later. Peace out.